Hey, it's your boy Kai, and welcome to Kai Watches Gilmore Girls, the social media series where you join me, Kai, as I watch Gilmore Girls for the very first time and document my entire experience. Today, we're breaking down Season 5, Episode 5, entitled We Got Us a Pippi Virgin. I'm super excited to do this. Are you super excited? I'm super excited. Are you super excited? I'm super excited. My friends, let's do this. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And don't forget to subscribe for your breakdowns on Gilmore Girls and other shows like this every single week. And be sure to get your Gilmore gear. If you're a fan of Gilmore Girls, you get your favorite Gilmore gear, and you get them with your quotes and your favorite moments of the show, your shirts, your hoodies, whatever you want. It's all there. Just visit my website, thevibewithkai.com, and click on merchandise. You can also follow me on your favorite social media platforms. Follow me at The Vibe with Kai, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. With that out of the way, thank you so much for joining me today. Now let's get right to it. Season 5, Episode 5 of Gilmore Girls. We got us a Pippi virgin. Jackson is overwhelmed with his new job of being a more pleasant version of Taylor. Same amount of hair, though. I guess a little bit more than Taylor. In this photo, you're going to see a little red spot on his shirt. In this moment, actually, he was just stabbed by his brother, Rune, in a fit of rage. I'm kidding, of course. What you see is tomato juice. I just wanted to bring up Rune because I haven't heard or said that name in quite some time. Here's Richard and Rory. Next, we have Richard's mustache and Rory having lunch together. In this scene, Rory points out that maybe Richard should actually go talk to Emily. And Richard's response is, nah, I'm good. When we see Lorelai and Dean having this incredibly weird encounter outside of Luke's diner, this awkward dialogue between these two in this scene is actually, it's very similar to an exchange I had with my ex-girlfriend when I randomly bumped into her at a Walgreens parking lot. It was just super awkward. What's funny is that Dean in this scene is acting like he's doing a drug deal and doesn't want to get caught. Lorelai in this scene is acting like she's ready for the drugs and doesn't care if she gets caught. Off to the panic room we go. Emily got herself a panic room just in case someone comes to rob her of her privileged life. Mind you, this is a one-person panic room, which means all of the maids, all of the staff, they're on their own. Thank you for your service, maid ladies. I hope you plotted your escape route. Oh my gosh. You know, what's funny, in this scene, both Rory and Lorelai mentioned the Jodie Foster movie Panic Room. That movie starred Jodie Foster, Forrest Whitaker, Jared Leto, and Kristen Stewart, long before Kristen Stewart started making out with vampires and werewolves. Let the record show I have always been Team Edward. Always. Emily then goes to break into Richard's study in order to kind of snoop around. And while she's in there, she finds mountains of breath mints. And she also finds the sparkly vest that I wore to my dance recital last year. Now, let me tell you, I do a mean shuffle ball change. I'm quite good at it. Give me a buffalo. Give me a time step. I got you covered. Shout out to Hep Alien. We see them practicing some chords here. In fact, I'll use this time to promote my interview. My next interview is going to be with this guy. This guy right here. Yeah, that's John Cabrera. He's my next interview on the Vibe with Kai podcast. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. You can find the Vibe with Kai podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and of course, the random cassette tape that you randomly have sitting in your basement right now. Here's Rory and Kyle, aka the guy that uses his hook as a way to talk to women successfully. Kyle is played by the actor Chauncey Leopardi, who's from the movie The Sandlot. You might recognize him, right? You'll notice that if you watch the scene, you'll notice that a lot of the scene, his hook is kind of like hidden from sight. You want to know why? Because this actor in real life has both of his hands. That is a fake hook. I don't want you to think that this man actually has one hand. No, he's a real actor that has both of his hands in real life. I looked it up because I wanted to make sure I wasn't kind of BSing you here. No, he's a real actor who has both of his hands. Once Kyle is out of the picture, we get Dean playing the role of horny 19-year-old kid that just left his wife. You also get Rory playing the role of best friend who's playing the role of a person whose best friend is asking for really important relationship advice on the phone right now, but she's too busy because she's making out with Walker, Texas Ranger, so she's gonna have to call her back at some point in the future. That's the one thing about the relationship between Rory and Lane. Lane is always there. Lane is always there for Rory. She will drop what she's doing and she will make it happen. How many times have we seen Rory when Lane has come to her for advice and Rory is like, but I'm kind of, I got something to do. Can I call you back? There's no reason that Rory can't talk to Lane right now. I mean, sure, they have plans, okay, to make out, but you can't take 5-10 minutes. Dean will understand. Him and his little horny self. Now, I love this scene. While discussing the entry code, to the maids are on their own panic room, Lorelai mentions that she's sitting next to Tex Watson. If you're not familiar with Tex Watson is a notorious murderer who is the central member of the Manson family. So, Gilmore Girls, keeping it nice and lighthearted for you. I really like when we get scenes of Richard and Lorelai alone and on decent terms. It doesn't happen often, so I really wanted to take a second and point that out. And here's the thing. I've never really been a big fan of the way that Richard treats Lorelai. I'm curious if I'm alone in that sentiment. Let me know in the comments if you disagree or if you agree or not. I'm not the biggest fan of the way that Richard treats Lorelai, just in general. I understand they have like a history, but that father-daughter dynamic, like I always cling to the moments that they have like a good moment together when they're not fighting and they're alone, because that does not happen often. I included this picture for one reason and one reason only. Can you guess? Can you guess what it is? Those of you that have been following me for a long time, you probably already know what it is. I've included this picture for one reason, and that reason is Lorelai in glasses. Can we just take a moment and acknowledge how amazingly beautiful this woman looks in glasses? She is so cute in glasses. Unlike me, when I wear my glasses, I look like a human pocket protector. True story. I did an interview recently with the wonderful Shelley Cole, who plays Madeline on Gilmore Girls. You can check it out. That is on my The Vibe with Kai podcast, the same one that I'm going to be interviewing John Cabrera. Check out my interview with Shelley Cole, Madeline on Gilmore Girls. Check it out right now. The Vibe with Kai podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, Google Podcasts. Go check it out. You'd also see it here on the YouTube if you're watching on the YouTube. Lorelai looks great with glasses, and I gotta say, Lane looks pretty good without glasses. This is her without glasses. She looks pretty good here, right? Also, in this scene, Lane also takes back her admission of love for Zach, which I'm sure she immediately regrets, because that shirt, let's be real, that shirt on Zach right now, it fits him pretty well. That is a good fit for Zach. So good for you, Zach, shaving I guess you're shaving a beard here. I don't see a beard, but you're shaving it, and good for you. Also in this scene, Brian and Zach and Lane are all using the same sink at the same time to do 3 different things. The life of poor roommates. I know that life so well. When I was younger, oh man, I remember those days for sure. And on to the most awkward double date in the world. It has commenced. Awkward double date has commenced. Fresh with Luke being overprotective, Lorelai and Rory singing the opening of Pippi Longstocking at the top of their lungs, Dean wearing creased slacks, and of course, Kirk and Lulu getting it on as if it's their last chance ever. Shout out to Kirk for finding some much needed passion in lovemaking. I'm sure a lot of people are jealous of this makeout session. And by people, I mean me. I am people. It has been a long year, and I am living vicariously through you, Kirk. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. Zach decides to swing by Luke's to sort of kind of maybe admit his feelings for Lane. Let the record show, I still think this pairing is a little weird. But hey, if Lane is happy, I'm happy. It's not about me. I am happy for Lane. It is not about me. I am happy for Lane. I have to keep saying that in order to occupy my time whenever Zach and Lane are on the screen together, because if I don't say that out loud, I'll be saying things like, hey, where is Dave? Come back from California. Summer will never love you the way that Lane does. That's an OC joke for those of you that are not up to date on your 2000s teen dramas. People want me to watch the OC. I don't know. I don't think I can do it. I've seen enough of it. I don't think I can do it. Bop It, Twist It, Pull It. I used to love this. And remember Skip It? Did any of you have Skip Its? I had a Skip It, and I was happy with it. I was not good at it, but I had it. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of the way that Luke treated Dean this entire night. Like, I understand that he's being protective, but in this scene specifically, I think Luke is a little much. Dean did nothing wrong on this double date night. Nothing. And here's the thing, both Lorelai and Rory asked Luke to at least try to not be mean, and he couldn't do it. He made it about himself. Now, I'm allowed to critique Luke because Luke is my favorite character. And even after this, he's still my favorite character. But he's not without flaws, and I think that Luke's flaws came through here, and that's okay because he is a human being with depth, so it's okay. But I do want to go on record by saying that I'm not a big fan of the way that Luke treated Dean in this scene. I understand that Dean is not a perfect person either. There's not a single person in this scene that is perfect. I just don't think that he should have treated Dean like this. You know why? Because it's not about him, it's about Rory. Now, I'm sure a lot of you will combat my feelings by saying, well, just wait and see what happens next, and you'll see that Luke was right, or something like that. But please know that I am watching this show, I'm watching this show in the moment, right? A lot of people want me to watch it and base my opinion based upon something that happens in the future that I don't know about yet. And I can't do that. It is literally not possible because I don't know what happens next. So just like any of you, if you were watching this TV show week to week and you had to wait a week not knowing what's going to come next, that's me right now. And right now, I think that Luke was a little much with Dean. When I'm watching a show for the first time, just like everyone else, I base my feelings upon the things that I know, not based on the things that I don't know. So right now, I feel that Luke was a little unjustified here. Now, once Dean and Rory leave, Luke and Lorelai have a really interesting discussion here, and I want to highlight some specific things that Lorelai said to Luke, because Luke was going at it, saying, "Hey, Dean is not a good guy. Dean is not right for Rory," right? Saying all these things. And I just want to highlight a couple of the responses that Lorelai said. Lorelai said, number one, their problems were mutual. You don't know the whole story. Number two, she said, when you're young, you make mistakes. Number three, she said, he's 19, give him a break. Number four, she says, matters of the heart are not science. There are no sure things. Matters of the heart are not science. There are no sure things. I love that line. I love it because it just shows that we are all prone to mistakes no matter how old we are. We are all prone to mistakes. Those lines stood out to me. I can see Luke's points in this scene, but I think it's important that we take Lorelai's points here as well. As Rory's mother, I think that she brings up some very good points to Luke. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, oh, Luke is being, protective because he cares for Rory, and that's okay. But I'm going to side with Rory's mother here. It doesn't matter how long Luke has known Rory. If it came down, if somebody said to me, okay, out of these two, who makes the decisions for the household and for the daughter, I'm going to go with the mom, not the guy that's coming in and dating the mom. Sorry. And I'm just going to have to side with Lorelai here. I'm not saying that she's perfect, but I have to just, I don't think it's fair for us to just automatically side with Luke here. But that's just me, based on the information that I know right now, right? This scene with Luke being overprotective with Rory, it reminds me a lot of the scene when Max is being really protective with Rory a couple seasons ago. Do you remember that? Remember that when he was asking, he wanted Rory to get back at a certain time, blah blah blah. I think that's weird, right? And I wanted to ask all of the moms here that are listening to this. So all the moms out there, what are your thoughts on Luke playing protective dad here so early in a relationship with Lorelai? Have you ever run into that experience? Has that ever happened to you where the person that you're dating, that's not the actual father of your child, decides that they want to be more of a parental figure and say things or do things that a father or a dad would do, but it's early in the relationship? I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that? I'm really curious about that. Richard's mustache and Emily finally have a brief conversation with each other, and it was nice. It was nice to see. He explains that he is in a quartet, like a barbershop quartet, which explains the vest. He also explains that that he is I forgot what, I can't remember. He says something else in the scene, but he explains what he's been up to, right? And Emily explains that she has a panic room, and he's like, oh, okay. It was a short, sweet exchange. It was very nice to see, and it gives me hope that my ex will text me back. I'm kidding. She definitely won't. Oh man! And of course, the episode ends with what's her face, Rory and Dean having a nice little exchange here as Dean walks home because he ain't got no car. Has a nice little exchange here. Um, I was happy to see them on the same page about how awkward the night was, and they seemed at this point to be on good terms. So I'm okay with that. So what do I give this score? What do I give this episode? What score do I give this episode? Well, I give it a 3 out of 10. I give it a 3 out of 10. This episode really wasn't exciting to me. Quite honestly, it was one of the first times in a very long time that I was actually a little bored watching an episode of Gilmore Girls. I know my previous episode score and this score weren't super high, but I do have high hopes for what it's setting up. Right? So once again, I know a lot of you are going to be sitting here being like, "Oh, but this is important for the future," and that might be true, and I completely understand that. But this episode, standing alone, I think was just, it wasn't great to me. Will some of the plot points and situations of this episode play into the future? I'm sure it will. But once again, let me remind you, I'm watching this for the first time, so I have to base it on what I know, not what eventually comes. Right? So your ranking for it might be higher because it might turn out that something that happened in this episode plays a really important factor for something that happens somewhere down the line. And that's okay. You're allowed to feel that way. But right now, for me watching it for the first time, it was a little boring to me. I know season 5 is a lot of people's favorite season, so I'm excited to see what comes next. Apparently, season 5, episode 7 is the bomb diggity. I don't know if people still say that, but I just said it, and I am holding fast. I said bomb diggity, and I'm sticking to it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns like this every single week. You can also follow me on your favorite social media platforms at The Vibe with Kai, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. Thank you so much for watching Kai Watches Gilmore Girls. It's your boy, Kai. As always, my friends, God bless and good vibes.